cuties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Summer glow is back. We've officially tanned ourselves, and in today's video we shall be talking about confidence in terms of what we wear, confidence in terms of what we wear on the inside and on the outside. So let's get right into it. The first things first, when we talk about confidence, can we exaggerate more on the mindset and the way we look and the way we express ourselves? Because most oftentimes what happens is mindset becomes a key major part, because when you are so confident, when you are sure in your mind that you're gonna do this, when you are sure in your mind that you're gonna achieve this, and when you are sure inside your mind and heart that you want something, you will go to any lengths to get it. So when we are expressing ourselves, when oftentimes we think negatively, we should think inward and we should always look right inside what is there in our mind, because sometimes it's the fear we have towards something, and the other times it may be just that in our mind we're not sure about what we want or what we need to achieve. So developing habits which will make your mindset stronger, it may be mindfulness, maybe meditation, it may be reading books that are actually gonna help you develop the sense of the grit or the mindset that we want is more important. And another thing that I want to focus on is good heartedness. Let's just skip to the chase and let's just talk about what good heartedness actually is. It need not be necessary just because you're kind, you're naive, right? It need not be necessary just because you're kind, you are taken advantage of. Oftentimes what happens is we build boundaries around people, we build boundaries of ourselves where people think we're kind and naive and they can do whatever they want. But the kind heartedness, what I'm talking about, is you be compassionate towards another human being, and at the same time do not let their energy affect you. All right, for instance, you are dealing with someone who is, say for example, just not in a mood to do anything. For example, you are in a situation where the other person you are sitting, or the other person who's sitting right in front of you, is in a bad mood, and hey, you are always in a good mood, your energy never gets disturbed by someone like that, you're cool. But if you are someone like me whose energy gets affected on a longer term, like, hey, this person is not working, so let me just not work. This person is in a bad mood, so automatically I start feeling uncomfortable around them. So if you are that person, just understand that that person is actually reflecting what they are feeling and not how they are feeling towards you, right? Sometimes it may be genuinely true, and the other times they may be projecting that energy just to distract you. So you should be, a little bit more careful towards how you choose to behave and react to their energy, because oftentimes it's not you guys. So let's just let them be, let's just be kind, let's just understand that they are going through something that you don't know of, people are fighting battles that we don't know of. And keeping that in mind, we will just move forward and do not let that energy get you affected or get your work affected. So that is that. And the next thing we'll be talking about is how we're gonna handle relationships. So once we understand that they're not people, around you are not projecting what they're projecting towards you, let's just let them be, let it go, and just focus on you. Okay, just focus on what we are dealing with, let's just focus on how we are reaching towards the end goal, and everything's gonna go fine. And the third thing that we'll be talking about is maintaining relationships and understanding thresholds and boundaries. When this happens, The relationship or boundaries that I'm talking about is not necessarily the dating boundary or the friendship boundary. It actually accounts for all the boundaries that we'll be putting on our schedules, on our times, on our priority list. Hey, if somebody's not prioritizing us, what's the point of us going all the way in, going all in, just to get disappointed, right? So when you have a certain deadline, when you have a certain goal, when we have an important schedule, understand that it's yours, it's your career, it's your goal, you're oriented towards it, it's your long term perspective, and it's your future that we're talking about. And once you get to know that, it's like very easy to snap right away from how people are treating us, snap right away from how it's going so far, and it's very, very, very easier to understand who is genuine. If you are 24/7 working on a goal where people aren't understanding why you're struggling so much, hey, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Some people, like, let's just accept it that people are gonna be so freaking pissed off that you're not doing something that they want you to do. And it's okay. Like, people project themselves on us just to make sure that they feel good. But we draw our line there, and we are gonna go ahead and maintain a proper relationship with them, but at the same time avoid them at any cost when they're trying to pull us down. So you have to make sure you identify people who are dragging down your confidence levels, dragging down your motivation levels, dragging your inspirations down and demotivating you. Those are not the type of people we want to stay with, because leveling up journey, you personally leveling up, doesn't have anything to do with them. All they want is their own type of perspective that they are projecting on you. So maintaining relationships and understanding the mental barrier that comes in between when we are trying to project our goals and inspirations. Like, for example, never share something until and unless you have it, because people will stop you. Sometimes people will try to stop you. People don't want you to have good things. People want good things for themselves. Hey, if you are a believer that everybody and everything has a proper share in this universe, you're gonna go good, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna do amazing. But there are people who can't believe that there is enough for everybody in this world, and they do not care how they get it, they just don't want others to get it too. So if you are surrounded by people who actually put up the word that, okay, maybe you're doing this wrong, maybe you're doing this right, or just, like, subjecting and objecting every single thing that you do, please try to maintain your distance and understand that everybody's perspective is different. It may be a suggestion that they're providing, an advice that you're providing. At the end of the day, we're only gonna decide what's good for us, because we bet on ourselves here, and we do not want anybody else's energy, we do not want anybody else's advice to affect our future goals. So maintaining a relationship with people here just means that you're gonna take what you want, we're gonna take what we want, and we're just gonna let go and keep everything aside of what we do not. And here we do not want negativity, here we do not want misconceptions, here we do not want misunderstandings, here we do not want what we're not attracting. Our intention is 100% there, and we're gonna follow it. All right, so that is how we're gonna go about it. And the next thing that we're gonna talk about is the most basic thing. It's just the attitude we have towards everything. All right, other thing we'll be focusing on is, in this era where everything is fast forward, everything is fast paced, we have to understand that somebody is reaching from here to there, from there to somewhere else, and people are trying to change their majors, change their fields, change their vision, change their goals, change their, you know, field of work or whatsoever. So you have to be respectful towards it. For example, if you are calling someone 100 times and they're not replying back, just instead of sitting here worrying about what they are doing or why aren't they picking your calls, just be grateful that you have got that time for yourself, all right? And be grateful that you will utilize that time for somebody else, like somebody who is actually willing to listen to you, somebody who is genuinely wanting to have a relationship with you. It may be in terms of a friendship, it may be in terms of a camaraderie, it may be in terms of an apprentice. If you find someone who you can share your knowledge to, if you can someone who is there to listen to you, they are your people, okay? And oftentimes it's not that you're actually pulling away from the people who are already there in your life. We are just respecting what their boundaries are. We're just respecting that they are taking time to grow, because everybody grows at different rates, everybody has their own priorities. So you want to call someone, go ahead and call them, but do not waste your time calling them again and again wondering about what they're doing. Instead, let's just like focus on ourselves, right? It's just that simple. The next thing is the attitude, guys. If people say you have an attitude problem, if people say that you have attitude this, attitude that, you're not speaking to them properly, people misread us all the time. It's just so common. People misread the way you feel, people misread the way we speak, people misread the way we actually approach life, all right? So people don't know what you're going through, so why are you worrying so much? Like, why do we actually have to worry so much about what people think of us, when we can think of ourselves, when we can focus on ourselves, when we can actually focus on our damn improvement? When it comes to having a charismatic attitude, you have to always understand that chasing behind something is only gonna push it farther away. And when we are doing that, we are just completely, utterly displacing every single thing that we want. So instead, we're gonna attract it. We're gonna sit, we're gonna work on it, we're gonna bet on ourselves, we're gonna hard work, we're gonna work our ass off just to get to a point where we are actually the person that we want to become. So that is how we're gonna set an intention to be a charismatic person who always focuses on yourself. You know what happens when you focus on yourself? When you switch everything off, when you turn the entire world off, you're gonna get results so soon that people are gonna be wondering how you do it. People are gonna ask you how you did it. In 2 weeks, they're just gonna like, understand something is off with you, and they're not sure what it is. That is what happened to me. When all of a sudden I started creating content, people were like, okay, what is this girl doing, and what is this? I'm not bragging about it, I'm just here telling you that when you are consistent about something, when you are passionate about something, when you are focused on something, you're gonna get it some or the other way. It's gonna take time, nothing happens overnight, but you're gonna reach there eventually. Trust me, guys. When you have the confidence, take any athlete, take any sports person, take anybody who's best in whatever they're doing, take any goat, the greatest of all times, take any actor, take any writer, take any journalist, take any single person that you find in the respective industries where they're actually good at. They're not here all of a sudden, guys. There is a growth, there is consistency, there is dynamic growth where they're actually progressing from level 0 to level 100 and 110 and whatnot. So you have to understand that we are not gonna reach there in just right now, but we are gonna reach there at a point, and that point is actually worth it. There will be milestones, there will be failures, people are gonna call you losers, people are gonna call you that you can't do it, but if you have a little bit of confidence, if you have that soul intuition, that soul feeling that it is right, go ahead and do it, and do not regret anything. I'm telling you, even if that's a stupid mistake, it's just for that moment. People aren't gonna remember it forever. And even if they do, what goes, guys? It's you who's earning from it. It's us who is actually understanding why it is happening the way it is. Don't be silly. Like, I mean, just go out there, ask the questions that needs to be answered, approach people, meet new friends, make new groups, socialize, and understand that not all of the people out there are willing to date you. Not all of the people out there are willing to snatch away your opportunity. Not all the people out there are just so selfish. There are some people who are genuinely interested in the friendship you wanna, you know, lend your hand out to. There are actually genuine people who want to sit together, study, who want to sit together, look at, like what you're doing, and give, honest, genuine suggestions. So the way we're changing our attitude is by leveling up, and that is what is going to increase our charismatic levels, guys. If you are someone who's always hyper focused on yourself, just look at how people are gonna crawl to you. Just look at how people are gonna come to you and ask you for suggestions about how you have leveled up. So that is one thing. The final thing we'll be talking about is styling yourself, dressing yourself, dressing ourselves to impress people. Always dress to impress, guys. It may be that, okay, fine, you can't afford this, you can't afford that, you're in a position where you cannot give your time on something. You are giving your time on yourself, dressing yourself for the best version possible, the best way possible, is nothing but you getting yourself more attractive into that world. And when you project that energy, you are actually attracting good energy. You are actually showing people that you are putting effort on yourself, that we are putting effort on the way we look, the way we groom ourselves, the way we accessorize, the way we do our nails, the way we are actually becoming better versions of ourselves. People notice this. Oftentimes what happens, the first thing that I as a person notice in another person, what shoes they're wearing, how their nails are they done, are they dirty, and how have they groomed their hair, have they washed it. Like, I see people like with a lot of issues. I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to name it, I don't have a problem. But guys, if you are putting effort on how you look, you automatically are raising your confidence. Because you know how they say overdressing is better than underdressing. You are in a room full of crowded people, like where people aren't confident because they're underdressed. It's a pathetic feeling, guys. It's actually not a good feeling. You have If you have resources to invest on yourself, if you have resources to pour on yourself, please do. Because that confidence, that glow, that effort that you put to look good every single day is gonna catch somebody else's attention. Imagine if they think like this. Imagine if somebody sees you and they're like, oh, they're putting so much effort on themselves. I can only imagine how much effort they might put on this work if I give them something. That is your job opportunity right there, guys. And understand that whatever comes at you isn't always meant for you. Whatever comes at you isn't always the best thing, and whatever comes at you isn't always the worst thing either. You just have to stay consistent, put yourself out there, work on yourself, bet on yourself, do things that actually bring you happiness and which you're actually passionate about. You're gonna get there in no time. So, by saying this, I just want to end this video by talking about the recent book that I'm reading. So, I'm actually reading a book called Quiet, where it's actually about multiple um, type of persona, like an introvert, an ambivert, and an extrovert. So, there I've read about a person who is an introvert, and he is a business icon. He's like a business tycoon, okay? So when the person is an introvert, you have to understand that it's difficult for you to go out there and talk about it. But if you're really good at something, you should be able to develop a skill where you find a way to put it out there. For example, this person was really good in sales, so this person went ahead and created a leveling up program where he is actually the greatest of all time there in that particular field. And there is another scenario where the author talks about going to Harvard Business School, and how even though the school is meant for the graduates, like even though the school is really famous for graduating people who are the most famous people out there today, there are introverts inside. Extroverts, like I can say it's easy for them to go out there, put themselves out there, like, shake some hands and be like, oh, all right, we're good, we can do this, and progress. But extroverts, like introverts, we need time for ourselves, where oftentimes class activities, group activities, office settings, these are not the places where introverts can function properly. So oftentimes what happens is introverts get confused because they don't have the quiet life, they don't have the quiet time they require to energize themselves, to prepare themselves for the next day. So I would advise, if you are the person, if you are that certain someone who's a little bit shy, who's a little bit introvert, early mornings are the best ways that you can actually recharge yourselves. I myself have been getting up very early recently. I have that time because if I go to work, I have to always communicate and talk, right? And when I am, oftentimes I'm outside these days, I'm putting outside on treks, on social events and whatnot. It's difficult for me to recharge my soul, to recharge my energy, to recharge myself when there's a lot of people. So what I do is get up in the morning, make myself a nice cup of green tea, grab a book, meditate, sit. That calmness that you get, that recharge of energy that you get when you get up early, is game changing, guys. So if you are a night owl, just, I would actually suggest that early morning air is, it has something in it that is gonna raise your spirit energies up. So I would recommend you all to get up early and do your homeworks then, rather than like staying late at night and get distracted with low energy levels, because we all have a hectic schedule. Somebody's commuting, we're going here, we're going there. So instead of that, you have a good night's sleep, get up early and do your homework, and that way you're ready for the day. And when you come, you can just have a nice cup of chai and tea, whatever it is, and whatever you want to have, and you can have your food, slow down your dopamine levels, let the melatonin sink in, and have a good night's sleep. So by saying that, let's end today's video, and I'll see you next week.